multi-platinum selling South African superstar, the very beautiful, very talented Lira is in the building.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Welcome back to Nairobi.
It's so good to be back.
We love you in this city.
Thank you.
You realize that?
I love this place. I've often called it my second home.
We can't blame you because it's just really such a great city. I know Johannesburg is not too bad, but Nairobi is really where it's at.
It's different. Yeah. No, it's certainly crept into my heart.
Good.
Definitely.
Welcome back to the city. And you're here. You just performed at Koroga Festival. It was all kinds of amazing. The Kenyan crowds really love you.
It's every time I come here, it's been phenomenal. So I really appreciate it. They always show me great love.
You are one of those guys, I think. Did you always know you were going to get into music? Because you were performing from when you were 16?
Yes. Well, when I was 16, I enjoyed music, but there was nothing in my environment that made it seem like this could be a career.
Okay.
I was actually told nobody sings for a living. You know, that's
oh, really?
we just do for fun.
So don't think you're going to have a career in music.
You know, it's like, yeah, you can sing and all, but no, we just do it for fun. So I was like, okay, fine. But I realized, you know, it was something that gave me the greatest fulfillment. I actually became an accountant before I went into music full time.
You got a degree in accounting?
I worked in that environment for 2 years.
And you worked as an accountant for 2 years?
Yeah.
Did it just kill your
exactly.
soul?
I think that's when I realized, okay, this is not really for me. I'm super grateful for that time because it taught me to think systematically and logically, which I think is good as an artist, to really have some structure in terms of one's plans. But I realized that I'm actually a creative. And at about age 22 or 23, I also finished high school quite early, so I started working quite early. I think I finished school at 16, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I started working relatively early. And yeah, I just decided, I was actually looking for the most fulfilling path to follow. And I figured being on stage was that.
You know, it must be interesting because there's lots of people who are creatives, but because of the way the system is set up, you went to university and studied economics or accounting in your case, and you're stuck in that system. You really think, I wish I could do what I really want to do.
Yeah. And it's difficult to make the transition. I always say you need a solid dose of madness.
So you had that right dose of madness.
And guts. And a clear vision.
Were you afraid that maybe I'm going to do this and then it won't work out?
Yeah.
And I will have walked away from a career, which is, at least I've got a definite salary at the end of the month.
Oh, yeah. And my idea then was to spend 5 years living my life, fulfilling my passion, and then going back to real life. So I literally, was going to do it for 5 years, and now it's been 13 years.
And you're now living the life.
I'm not going back there anymore.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Look at you
lucky.
performing all over the continent, huge crowds,
phenomenal.
Multiple awards, platinum records.
Yeah.
Is it almost surreal still?
It really is. I never get used to it. You see, because there's a sharp contrast between where I come from and where I am now. It's such two extreme polar opposites. So I can't help but look back and then find myself appreciating the journey. It's really phenomenal to me.
How do you describe your sound?
My sound is soulful, inspirational, epic.
Epic. I like epic. I like epic. Because you come after a long list of just really powerful women. Miriam Makeba.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them across the continent who are just powerful, soulful voices that the whole continent is still listening to.
Yeah. I think, you know, I modeled myself, particularly on Miriam Makeba. She made it beautiful to be truly African. And she made me feel like I could go anywhere in the world and just be accepted as I am as an African woman. I didn't have to play to what the global ideal of a black woman is. So I quite like that.
And do you see therefore that you're still a role model for other black women around the world, for African women, because you have a platform and you have an influence, so people will model what you do now? Exactly.
I think, you see, that's the beautiful position that one finds one in, is that you have an opportunity to become an influence, and I like that. I like having a purpose to what I do. Sure, we can make music, make money, it's wonderful, but what legacy are you leaving behind? And that is what I want to be remembered for making people believe that they can achieve anything that they put their mind to. I actually believe if nature gives you the gift and the desire, if you have the guts, it actually is set up to support you. You just have to show up.
Oh, great. You're now involved in helping and identifying other young talent. You're a judge, right?
A coach on The Voice.
You're a coach on The Voice.
Yeah.
So you're seeing lots of young, talented people who are coming in there and they have a dream. And sometimes you have to break their hearts. Is that hard?
It is difficult. But this is how, firstly, we are all aware we're entering a competition, so there can only be one winner.
Yeah.
So the approach that I encourage the team to take is learn as much as you can. And for me, it's imparting really tangible tools that they can use to, you know, take their career further.
Right.
And I always remind them that none of us coaches made it through a platform like this. So there's always various avenues to get yourself in your career going.
What
But
makes
it's fun.
a good musician?
In my opinion, it's uniqueness. Like just really being comfortable. You could be quirky. You don't have to. We don't all have to be big, soulful divas and whatnot. But just find your niche, find your uniqueness, find the thing that makes you you, and excel at that.
What is the balance, though, between finding your niche or trying to do a sound that's popular, that is at the top of the charts, that people like? Because there's always
True.
a wave and a popular sound at any one time.
Indeed. I think it is the balance, you know, because when you're still starting out and building your career, it is advisable that you make music that will, you know, get the people to like you and start hiring you for concerts and things like this. But you also want to nurture your creative output because, you know, it's your gift. But I often say, I've worked with a few serious jazz musos, for instance, and I always say we have to be aware of that delicate balance where your music is so intense and so deep and so, you know, high level that it goes over everybody's head. There's no point in that because also music is a service. You know, we do what we do to uplift people, to connect with people, so never lose that.
So that said, what informs what you're writing about or what you're singing about?
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, did you say me or generally?
You, generally. Yeah.
I-
Actually, you, not generally.
Sure. For me, it's life in the African continent from the perspective of growing up in South Africa. That informed how I see myself in the world that I live in. And so I think what drives me is just overcoming limitations, finding out who I am and expressing that, allowing myself to fall in love, to express who I am in every way, shape or form. So I sing, that's why the music is inspirational in that sense. It's like what our background is shouldn't determine what our future could be.
Do you see it as social commentary? Because you grew up in apartheid South Africa. Obviously, the world, South Africa's changed. The world has changed right now. Is it still speaking to the realities of what people are living through?
Well, I think it's important because even though the world has changed, we still carry a lot of baggage. And so I find sometimes young people are struggling to make that transition. You sort of inherit a certain environment and you don't know how to find your feet in it. And I think I'm a product of people like Mira Makeba, Hugh Masekela, who lived in the struggle, but because of their music was relevant to that time. So my music needs to be relative to our generation who are stuck with this freedom and don't know what to do with it. Like, how do you free?
Right, exactly.
What is that exactly? So once each of us define it for ourselves, I think it's good to share it because I think the ultimate freedom is really in your mindset.
And you've got a song, is it a song or an album called Born Free?
I've got a whole album.
You've got a
on
whole
this
album,
concept,
Born Free.
On this
You were
concept.
just like, I have a lot to say. I don't think it will fit in one song.
Indeed.
I need to do a whole album about this subject.
Yeah, and I think it's important, you know, it's like we sort of just take things for granted, but it's like we are in a position where there's great opportunity to literally create the future that we prefer. So a lot of us bemoan the past. We can't do anything about it. It's past. We can learn from it, but what are we going to do to reshape our future? That is what's exciting about being African in this generation.
You're almost like an activist, which is nice.
I love it. The thing is, I was able to live my freedom. I'm living my passion. I'm doing well. I'm traveling the world. I literally love life. And all of us can have that. It's just a switch.
You know that you say that, it's fascinating because, a small detour, Hugh Masekela was here a couple of months ago, and he's obviously a total legend, but he's so committed to the purpose of Africa and what we need to do and challenging young people. It's mind-boggling, but also it's just impressive.
Exciting, right? Yeah, it's exciting. I think we hold a very important position as musicians, so hence I say you've got to stand for something. And there's no pressure, but find your passion and just live it. Do you, kind of thing.
There's people who say, musicians, why are you talking about all these other things happening in the world? Just make music and stop focusing on everything else.
Well, you can only sing about a love song and somebody touching you nice for so long. What else? What else is there to you? You're a human being. You're multifaceted. So even when I produce all kinds of music, it's because it's a holistic approach of being a human being. And what's important for me is to inspire on all levels, even in a romantic way, even in a life purpose kind of way, even a fun kind of way, but it's to inspire.
Great. What music are you listening to right now? Who do you like? Which artists? Why?
Let me think. What do I like? Gosh, I like so much.
You must think of like your top 3. You can't tell us everything. We don't have an hour.
Okay, true. Okay, let me see. My current favorite song, it is a little old, but I really love the song. When this song plays, I cannot help but dance. Ojuelegba by
Wizkid. I went to Ojuelegba, which is an actual place in Lagos.
I heard. I was just in Lagos now, and they told me.
It is an actual place. So I think it's kind of like a love song to where he grew up.
Indeed, like a dedication to the place.
And it's got this fantastic energy. So maybe you can see why he came out of that and did
so
well
wow.
for himself.
See, I'd love to be there. That was just, yeah. So it's a beautiful song. So it's huge in South Africa.
Oh, really?
And this is what excites me. This is how it's supposed to be. A Kenyan artist is supposed to release a really hot song, and then the whole continent is aware of it.
Right.
That would be the ultimate. For instance, in the States, they're so dominant, and the artists do so well because they've got such a big market to market to. Whereas here in the African continent, I don't understand why we don't cross.
So people are kind of in clusters. So South Africans are listening to South African musicians, and Kenyans to Kenyan musicians, and then the Nigerians, everybody's listening to them.
Yeah, but they've been smart in terms of exporting their sound. And I think South Africa is also
in a way, yes.
Yeah.
On the continent, I think in my view, the music that a lot of people are listening to are South African music and Nigerian music, more than from anywhere else on the continent.
And so, but that's because they have systems of getting their music out currently. So ideally, it would be nice. I mean, I was just listening to the radio station right now, and I'm just like, the sound that I'm hearing then, I was just like, why do I not have access to this?
Right.
It's frustrating to me. There's beautiful music coming out of the continent, but it's difficult to get access to it.
But the other thing is, I think as an artist, how do you view it? Because listen, you're a musician, you're an artist, but you need the business side of things to live.
Yeah.
So sometimes people just want to be here and put out great music and then don't worry about promoting it and just getting it out there.
Fair enough. But there are systems like iTunes. There are online platforms. So, and actually I had an interview in another radio station that solely plays African music from all over the place. But they play hip hop, they play jazz, and it was so exciting that platforms like that exist. So all I'm saying is, as an artist, sure, blow up in your country, but do plug in. You just never know, you know.
Okay, before we go, tips for musicians. What do you do before you go on stage? Do you go into meditation and just get into a zone? What is your technique?
Okay, firstly I warm up. I have to warm up my vocal cords. And that takes an hour and a half.
Really?
Yes. When I do that, I don't want to be disturbed because it seems weird to the average person. And I don't want to deal with that kind of energy.
Do you look like a mad woman at that time?
I do. Totally. Nobody gets it. They're just like musicians. So I do like to be alone. I like the process of getting ready. Makeup, hair, the works. Because it's like you're getting in the zone.
Right.
And then I will stand in the mirror to affirm, to just get my A game going, because it feels like...
Wait, you give yourself a pep talk in the mirror?
Oh, yeah.
You're giving yourself a pep talk in the mirror?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Lira, you got this, you're the best, you're tremendous, you're going to be unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you why that's important. It's as if you amplify your persona before you go on stage anyway. So otherwise, I feel like you'll go on and you'll take time to take off energetically. Whereas if you come with a big bang, you'll end up even on a larger bang. And I think I've done it since the beginning. I used to struggle with confidence in the beginning. So
because
I needed
it's a big crowd, right?
I used to really, really struggle. I used to be so self-conscious and be like, oh my God, and struggle with those kind of things. So the mirror work was really a powerful thing. That's actually what I teach also on The Voice.
Right.
Because I realized also a lot of musicians have the same struggles. You know, just they're afraid to unleash. And so if you just give yourself a quick pep talk, you raise your energy. The next thing when you go on there, you're just like, hear me roar.
Wonderful, truly wonderful. Lira means love in Sesotho.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah.
It's lovely. As we finish, I know, I just had to sneak that pun in there.
Sweet.
You must sing a bit of Hamba for me because I think this is
Do you like the song? Do you know what it means?
I don't know what it means.
Can I tell you what it means?
No.
It's a woman who's totally fed up with her man. She says, I might love you, but I'm so tired. I'm willing to let you go, even though I love you. I'm done with you.
Right.
So this kind, yeah. So it's just like hamba means go.
Oh, hamba means go.
Go.
That's what they say on SAA, hambani gadli.
Exactly, exactly. That's
Oh,
precisely
go
it.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Great. Please.
Okay. No mungahamba gekengilile wongithi hamba gekengilile kwanele manje hey oh hey kwanele manje hamba bye.
Oh, fantastic. The great Lira in the building. Thank you so much for coming through. Giyabonga.
It's a pleasure. Asante sana.
Oh, karibu. See, cross cultures. We're speaking our languages. This is really working out. Lira was here for the Koroga Festival. She killed it.